What if I told you that behind the flashing lights, sold-out arenas, and screaming fans of the 1970s rock scene, there was a hidden world that was just as wild, if not wilder, than the music itself? Groupies, often misunderstood and sensationalized, were more than just fans chasing stars. They lived lives filled with glamour, heartbreak, freedom, and danger, embodying the raw spirit of an era where rules were broken and boundaries didn't seem to exist. The truth about what life as a groupie was really like in the 1970s will shock you. It was intoxicating, rebellious, and, at times, devastating. The 1970s was the golden age of rock and roll. Bands like Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, Aerosmith, and Fleetwood Mac ruled the world, and their lifestyles became the stuff of legend. But while the musicians dominated the stage, the groupies created their own subculture that was just as infamous. To many outsiders, groupies were dismissed as rock star girlfriends or nameless faces in hotel rooms. In reality, many of them were trendsetters, muses, and cultural icons in their own right. Pamela Des Barres, Bebe Buell, and others became as well known as some of the bands they followed, shaping fashion, influencing lyrics, and carving out a space for themselves in a male-dominated world. Life as a groupie meant living on the edge of fame. One night you might be backstage at Madison Square Garden, rubbing shoulders with legends, and the next you might be crashing on a stranger's couch with no money in your pocket. It was a life of extremes, luxury one moment, uncertainty the next. For some, it was thrilling. For others, it was exhausting. There were endless parties, wild road trips, and the intoxicating promise of being close to the music that defined a generation. But along with the excitement came chaos, jealousy, and heartbreak. Fashion was another defining part of groupie culture. These women weren't just following trends, they were creating them. Bell-bottoms, platform shoes, bohemian dresses, and daring, eclectic outfits became part of their identity. Many groupies were photographed as much as the rock stars themselves, becoming unofficial style icons. Their looks symbolized freedom and rebellion, rejecting the polished image of mainstream society in favor of something raw and unapologetically expressive. But beneath the glamour, there was also a darker side. Many groupies were very young, some barely out of their teens, swept up in a world of drugs, late-night parties, and unpredictable relationships. The 1970s were not known for boundaries, and exploitation was common. What seemed like liberation sometimes masked manipulation, and many groupies later spoke about the emotional toll of being seen as disposable. The lifestyle could leave deep scars. Drug abuse, broken hearts, and lost innocence were as much a part of the scene as the music itself. Still, groupies weren't just passive bystanders. Many had dreams of their own. Some became writers, models, and even musicians. Others used their experiences to tell their stories, lifting the curtain on a world the public only saw in fragments. Pamela Des Barres, for example, later published her memoir, giving a voice to groupies who had long been dismissed as nameless footnotes in rock history. These women, in their own way, helped shape the mythology of rock and roll as much as the bands did. The truth about life as a groupie in the 1970s is that it was both empowering and heartbreaking. It was about chasing freedom in an era when women were beginning to break out of traditional roles, but it was also about vulnerability in a culture that often saw them as expendable. For some, it was the adventure of a lifetime. For others, it was a cautionary tale. So, what was it really like to be a groupie in the 1970s? It was living in the heart of the storm, riding the highs of music history while navigating the lows of being caught in its shadows. It was glamorous, chaotic, dangerous, and unforgettable, a reflection of an era when boundaries were shattered and the music was louder than life itself.